Yes, people. Welcome back to that show. It's that get to know show. I'm back. Jem, Indiana's here as well to do this. Welcome. Yes, people. Welcome back to that show, get to know show with me and Indiana. Indiana, can you hear us? You all good?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. I can hear you.
Wicked. So you guys know who it is already. It's all over the thumbnails. It's our boy, well, my guy, Indiana's guy. Monstar CFC is in the building. How you doing, bro?
What's happening, people?
Yeah, not bad, bro. Not bad. How you been, bro?
Good, man. Just been chilling, Been working all weekend since
tell me about
Friday. Since Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah.
Before we move on, people, please smash that like button. Please subscribe if you're new here as well. And please share on all your socials. And let's try and get a bit of an audience built up. You know the topics. You know how it goes. You see what we've done with Terry Flowers yesterday. We've asked Monstar to give us... Last week, sorry. Yes. We've asked Monstar to give us his 3 combined 11s. 1 for Chelsea combined, 1 for World 11, and 1 for Prem. We're going to start with the Chelsea combined 11 that Monstar CFC has bought to us. I'm just going to bring it up for you guys now. And there it is, people. There it is. Monstar, I wasn't sure whether you wanted to do a 4-3-3 or what he was doing with Zola. So I've just put him on one side and put Hazard on the other and Makelele on his own. But Monstar's gone for checking goal. Ivanovic, Carvalho, Terry, Ashley Cole at the back. Makelele as the holding DM. Fabregas and Lampard. Hazard on the left. Mr. Gianfranco Zola on the right. And Didier Drogba leading that line. I mean, as a Chelsea fan myself, I'm not going to lie, Monstar, that is probably as close to what I would say would be my combined 11. The only question mark I would have on that is maybe the right back area. Couldn't have Aspie got into that, or Paulo Ferreira or someone like that?
Nah, Ferreira possibly, but I just feel Ivanovic was so important, versatile, could play centre back as well. Could score important goals. Probably scored way more goals than Aspie did. Remember his headers, very, very good aerially. He was a dynamic right back, man. I just feel he was better than Aspie. I just feel.
Yeah, and then the holding DM of Makelele. I mean, was it a hard one? Did you have Kante in the back of your mind as well, or was it just a straight up easy one?
I like Kante, but he's not as good as Makelele is in a DM role. I feel like he's more of a box to box, but come on, just Makelele, man. Probably
it's true.
The greatest, or one of the greatest DMs we've ever produced in the Premier League. I just feel he's not necessarily talked about a lot. Like, I know they talk about Vieira, Keane, but I do feel Makelele deserves to be in that conversation.
Yeah,
like,
you stole him.
Forget what he did for Real Madrid. People forget.
You stole him because he was a United target. You stole him as well. Thieves, man.
Yeah. And then obviously Lampard, I can see what you've done here because I would have probably done the same. You've gone for Lampard, Chelsea's greatest and the Premier League's most, I think, the top goal scorer in Premier League history from a midfielder in terms of Frank Lampard. And then you've got Cesc Fabregas, who, in my eyes, we haven't replaced since in terms of creativity as well. In there, I think that's a great combination. Could there have been a shout for anyone else, really? Like, I'm thinking like maybe the
Ballack and Essien.
Yeah.
I just feel like Fabregas just brings something, control in that midfield. Like, he can break any defensive line. Any defensive line you can put in front of him, he can break it down with just one pass. And that's one thing I wish we got him earlier. I wish we had him when Arsenal got him at 16 years old. He would have been just amazing. But for the couple seasons he was at Chelsea, I don't even have to tell you how good he was.
And then you've got Mr. Magician, someone that I wish could have played in some of the teams that actually won titles. Can you imagine the Magician with Hazard in real life, though? I'm not even joking. Or even like the Drogbas or or you know the Joe Coles and the Lampard setting Lampard up. You know, it would have been immense, wouldn't it, Monster? It would have been absolutely immense of him. But
he was next level. He was
next level, wasn't he? Yeah, that's what I'm
Magic.
saying. He was next level. I don't think there's actually been a player since Zola. I don't think there's been a player of his caliber. I mean, him and Bergkamp for me were like magicians of football. Like when you watch them, they were
you could throw Cantona in there to some extent. I think
Cantona,
David Silva, wizard. He's a wizard style of player. That's what people don't talk about him as much. But he's when you're saying magicians, David Silva is a magician. Do you know what I mean? People that can make Fabregas is a magician as well. They make things happen. They just have this vision that other players don't necessarily have. And David Silva to me just doesn't get the respect he deserves. Maybe it's because he played for City, but to me he's an all-time Premier League great. He should be mentioned with the greatest of them all. And you know, he showed that for obviously for Man City, and let's not forget what he did for Spain as well. He was part of that World Cup winning team, an important piece. He started every game. That just tells you. Yeah,
he would. I think sometimes the best players go unnoticed. It's not until they're gone. For me, Man United, it was Roy Keane. Like he went unnoticed because you had the David Beckhams and the Paul Scholes and everything. And David Silva's one of those. If you think the focus has always been Aguero for goals and De Bruyne, Yaya Toure when he was there, because I think he gets forgotten about a lot as well. I think he was exceptional for City. But yeah, David Silva's one of those players that I think the Premier League's now people who watch the Premier League, fans of football, have realised how good he actually was. Yeah, I agree with you.
And then obviously you got Didier Drogba leading the line. I don't think there's anyone else really that could have got in that position, is there? When you think of, I mean, people would say maybe Diego Costa. Yeah, maybe.
Also Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank as well.
That's what I'm surprised about. Why was Jimmy Floyd not in this team, Monster?
That was my favorite Chelsea player of all time. Yeah. Everyone knows that. But come on, although he's my favorite, we'll be lying to say Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank gets in over Didier Drogba, man. Like, come on.
Yeah,
we'll be lying. That would be too biased. Like, as much as I loved Hasselbank and he was my favorite player, favorite Chelsea player of all time, if I had the chance to choose between him and Drogba, knowing what Drogba did, I couldn't.
Yeah, no, that's true.
He's him along with Lampard, with the Terry's. I mean, if you look at, I mean, even Carvalho. I know we didn't even speak about Terry and Carvalho, but for me, them two, for me, I know people can disagree on this. Maybe Indiana more so, but were the two best in terms of partnership defenders that I have seen in the Premier League. I know Vidic and Rio Ferdinand's always talked very highly about, but for what they've done, especially when that record-breaking season that we done, not only winning the title, but they broke records, them two, in that season.
Yeah,
and
I was really thinking about Desai, but we didn't get him at the right time.
Gallas
part of his
as
prime.
well.
Gallas as well, but would you put Gallas in over Ashley Cole? Because remember when we used him, he was playing at, what was it, left back? He could also play centre back as well, but majority of that season he played left back, and he was part of that. He was an important piece of that back line that conceded 15 goals, but it's either him or Ashley Cole. I think you've got to go with Ashley Cole.
You can't not have Ashley Cole in a Chelsea combined 11, mate.
I also think Carvalho is the most underrated centre back he's ever played in the Premier League. He's another one. It doesn't get spoken about enough.
If I'm being honest, I think Carvalho is better than Terry. I just think Terry had longevity. That's the only thing. But if we're saying who was better at the time when they played, I think Carvalho was better.
The thing is, Monster, they complemented each other. That's the thing, because you had one who was a leader and read the game so well in John Terry, and you had Carvalho. I've never seen someone better at last-inch tackles than Ricardo Carvalho back in them days.
He made Terry step up his game. I feel like he made Terry step up his game. If it wasn't for Carvalho, because remember, Terry was good, but he wasn't that good before Carvalho came. When Carvalho came, he really made him step up his game.
Yeah, it's true.
Maybe it just complimented him in terms, like I said, he had pace, Carvalho, something Terry we know didn't have, and that's what I'm saying. It maybe hid his weaknesses in many ways because Carvalho used to cover him so well, and vice versa, and that's why I think they work together so well. But yeah, there you go, people. There's Monsters combined 11. We will be bringing up the other combined 11 soon. We're going to remove this now. Indiana, I'll move it on to you, mate.
Yeah, so in terms of Chelsea, and football. What are your first memories of Chelsea, and why did you become a Chelsea fan? Because if I remember rightly, you spoke to me a lot about people didn't wear their Chelsea shirts around London back in the day because Arsenal were dominating. So, how did that come about? How did you becoming a Chelsea fan come about?
I can't. The first memory I have with Chelsea was just watching TV, and I can't remember exactly what game it was, but I think at the time, who was manager? Was Ruud Gullit or Gianluca Vialli? I just remember seeing the shirt, the blue shirt, and I just loved it. This was like 97 or 98, around those times. I remember seeing the shirt. I just loved it. I just thought, "Wow, that was a time where everyone in London was either a Man United or Arsenal supporter." But I just remember seeing the blue shirt, and I was like, "Bro, I love this. I love this. I want to be a Chelsea fan." And from that point on, I just became a Chelsea fan. Simple as that. It was just seeing them on TV and just loved it, the look of them and everything. I loved, you know what I mean? Seeing Gullit as well, like, you know what I mean?
You know what's so funny about that? Usually the normal story for these kind of things is, because like for me, it was because my dad supported them. You know, when I was born, I was wrapped in a Chelsea blanket. You know, I was like born into Chelsea. That's all I knew. Do you remember watching Chelsea play on Channel 5? Do you remember that every day? It was wicked watching it on Channel 5. The commentator on there was sick back in them days. You know what I mean? But it's for me, it's definitely I was born into it. But in terms of when's the last football game? Have you been to a Chelsea game, Monster? I'm sure you have, yeah.
Into too many.
All right, tell me when was the last football game you went to, and what was your most memorable one? Like the one where you thought, "Wow!" Like when you was there, the game, the atmosphere, everything.
The last one I was at was Valencia 1-0 last season. Last season? The one where they beat us with Ross Barkley. It's the penalty.
Yeah, that was last year. Yeah, it was last year. Yeah.
Yeah, Ross Barkley was an idiot for that one because he's not even our penalty kick taker.
I don't even know why he stood up for that.
He stood up.
Made no sense. Yeah.
But my first memory. My first memory would be, what game was that? It was my first one I went to. It was a Chelsea Tottenham game. It was in 2004. I can't remember. I think it was 0-0 or 1-1. I can't remember exactly, but we drew that game. Yeah, wasn't necessarily the best.
What was your most memorable game though? What game would you go to and you thought, "Wow, what a game!" You walk out of there so excited.
2-0 Besiktas, 2003, 2004. Ranieri's season, because obviously I was young, excited Chelsea fan. It was a good team as well. Had a couple youth players. Glenn Johnson was playing for Chelsea at that time.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, John Terry, young Frank Lampard, Jasper Gronkia, all those teams in Chelsea were just really exciting. It was the start of their rise, isn't it? And I remember we had first lost to Besiktas, I think 2-0, and then we went and beat them 2-0. It was amazing, man. It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was an amazing experience, and it was my first proper experience of us in the Champions League. So I loved every bit of it. Yeah, Besiktas 2-0.
Cool. Tell me about traveling. I really want to know about you traveling, because when did this happen? Like, how old were you? Why did you travel? And you've done a bit of traveling, no?
Yeah, in life in general.
Yeah, in life. In life in general. So I want to ask you about where you went, why you went there. Did you catch any football when you were over there? Is there a difference? And yeah, when did this start for you, the traveling?
In terms of like catching football, the one place where I caught football, because not every place I traveled to I got to play football like that, but one place where I got to play football was Brazil. I lived in Brazil for a year, traveled out there. Not a year, was it 6 months? It was like almost a year, but it wasn't completely a year. It completely changed my perspective on football. It showed me a difference in a way football's played, and it showed me the huge difference between football in England and football outside England. It showed me the way we play football at grassroots level. It's not supposed to be played that way. There was a lot more skill required. The ball's played on the ground. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Played on the ground. Very rarely is the ball hoofed up in the air 40, 50 yards or whatever, innit? Which happens a bit too much in this country.
That's not the Brazilian culture, though, is it, Monster? That's the thing. They've always been very technically good, haven't they?
Yeah, they're technically gifted. Like also everywhere you go, when you go to Brazil, everywhere you go, you see little pitches. There's always kids filled out there just playing, taking it in turns with little teams and things like that, going at each other, innit?
Yeah.
A lot of skill, a lot of very technically gifted players that may not make it, but they were very good technically in it. And it changed my perspective because, you know, for so long in this country when I played football, the ball was always hoofed up in the air. And managers love it when you're just, you know, win the header type of football. Like, it's nonsense. And when I came back here and I was playing football here and they didn't play it on the ground, it used to really annoy me because I had gotten used to that nice type of football. Finally, I didn't have to jump freaking 2 meters off the ground to freaking head a ball down, innit? And it really changed my perspective, and it showed me what we're missing in this country and the reason why we're failing. It starts at grassroots. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it changed my perspective on football when I traveled out to Brazil. Yeah.
No, I completely agree with you. I've been coaching junior football for a good while now, well over a decade, and that is the big thing. It's very much. I feel a lot of coaches implementing this panic mode into kids. If in doubt, kick it out. I don't know whether you were taught that when you were a kid. It's so the first thing they do is boot the ball up in the air. That's the first thing they do. We're not teaching them to control it enough. We're not teaching them to bring it down, play the ball on the floor. I completely agree with you. What other places have you travelled though? Before we move on to the next excerpt,
I've travelled to many places. Cuba, travelled to Fuerteventura, obviously Amsterdam. Traveled to Nigeria, traveled to quite a few countries. A few countries. The football in these places, it's I've not seen, obviously when I went to Amsterdam, football wasn't the reason I went.
I know what you went there, mate. I know what you went there.
When I went to Nigeria, I saw a bit of football there. Didn't really get to see much of it, but it was all right. It was all okay. Still over there as well. The football was a bit on the ground as well, it seemed. Ghana as well. Football's all right there as well. I just feel like checked out football out there. It's not. I feel like England has a real issue. Yeah.
What made you travel so much? Was it just because you wanted to see the world? Like, what was the reason for you traveling?
Most of the times I've traveled is family or my girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Family or my girlfriend. Yeah. Like, I'm not really a person to travel on my own like that. It's normally someone just like, oh, should we go here? Should we go there? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, I hear that. Should we move on to the next combined that we've got
here? Yeah, we should. Well, before we do that, people, please smash the like, subscribe if you're new. Monster socials are in the description, and so are mine and Gem's. Please go and follow us on our socials. Subscribe to Monster's channel. Smash those likes. Please do that, people.
Wicked. So, this is Monsters. No, I've got this wrong, haven't I? I've mucked this up.
Nah, that's a mix. I think you've mixed.
I have mixed it, haven't I?
Yeah. What have you done, Gem?
All right. So, 2 seconds.
I think I had Terry and Yap Stam, and who was the right back?
That is interesting.
Sorry, guys. I am half asleep today. I am tired. I'm not going to lie.
Neville instead of Cafu.
Oh yeah, no, he had Ivanovic.
Are you sure? Was it Ivanovic or Neville?
Ivanovic. Says here, Prem 11, yeah.
Oh yeah, probably was.
What he means is he had Ivanovic, but he knows Neville was the better.
Do you know what it was during that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it.
When I was doing that 11, I was thinking to myself, is it Neville or Ivanovic? Obviously, we know Neville won a lot more, but I do think as a player, Ivanovic was much better. I feel like Neville, he wasn't the best right back, in my opinion, of all time.
No, he wasn't.
He worked in Alex Ferguson's system, innit?
No, he worked with David Beckham. He worked
worked well with David Beckham, yeah. So that's the reason why I would have probably had Neville. I mean, I had Ivanovic over him, innit? But he was a strong consideration.
We did a draft the other day,
Yeah.
And I had first choice on right backs, and I went for Ivanovic. So I understand where you're coming from.
This ain't Winter Surfer. This ain't World. Sorry, this is Prem combined 11. I mucked up the two at the back, but everything else is correct moving forward. So Makelele, Scholes, Vieira, Ronaldo, Hazard, Henry is leading. Obviously, you know the sort of defensive back. You've got Ashley Cole, Terry, Stam, Ivanovic, and Czech in goal. I mean, Patrick Vieira, why Monster? May I ask?
Bro, like, do you know what it is? Yeah, it was to me, it was a tussle between Vieira and Lampard. I can't see why you can. I know people say Lampard scored so many goals and things like that, but was Lampard? I don't know. Like, you see, the way I see my midfield is different to the way other people see theirs. So I don't necessarily need goals from my midfield. When you got Ronaldo, Hazard, and Henry, the script writes itself. I need these guys. I need my midfield to control itself. All I need from these guys to solidify my midfield and just get the balls to the attackers, and those guys will do the work for me. Do you know what I mean? If you look at Ronaldo and Henry, Henry's got what, the most assists in the Premier League or something like that. Like, he's got assists in him himself. Ronaldo's got assists. He's got, like, God knows, he's got so many assists. Hazard as well. All I need Scholes, Makelele, and Vieira to do is control my midfield and get the ball to them. I just feel, to me, I feel Makelele is probably the best just DM, straight holding DM the Premier League to me has ever seen. I know people are going to say Roy Keane and things like that. I feel Makelele was better technically. I know Roy Keane was a great leader as well. I just feel like as a footballer, I feel Makelele was better. And then Vieira, like, come on.
It depends. You know what it is, though? I think we've had such great. I mean, in terms of Premier League greats, especially midfielders, we've had such a variety of different style of midfielders. You know, if you wanted Lampard and you wanted goals in your team, you'd put him in. If you wanted someone with a bit of pace, power, balance, I would go for Yaya Toure or a Patrick Vieira. You know what I mean? If you wanted an all-round gifted midfielder, someone that could pick it up deep, spread, but also contribute with goals, Steven Gerrard. You know, like
I'd still be picking Scholes for that job. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, and then you got Scholes.
I think me and Indiana have spoken about this a million times. Scholes to me is probably the greatest midfielder that England has produced. But we're talking about, I know people might say, Gascoigne, but Gascoigne is, in today's game, I feel like he might be a winger rather than a straight midfielder. And also, like, if we're talking about Xavis and Pirlo's, the only person you can mention in that breath from England is Paul Scholes. Like, there's no one else. So he has to get in, like, the Paul Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard debate, even though they're different types of midfielders, the number one person from that conversation is Paul Scholes, and there's no arguments. I'm saying this as a Chelsea fan. He goes in over all of them. He's done too much for the game. I think England absolutely failed when they didn't make him the priority. He should have been the priority. England failed in that sense. He deserved better. Do you get what I mean? He needs to get into this Premier League team. His record in the Premier League speaks for itself. What he did in the Premier League speaks for itself. He has longevity over all these guys as well. And that's it. He gets in straight. Like,
do you know what I really loved about him, though? Never in the media.
He didn't need to be.
He did. Never spoke. He was one of those that just, again, went unnoticed. You had I suppose in his prime, you had David Beckham, who was like superstar, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? He married a Spice Girl and all these things, incredible players coming in like Ronaldo and Van Nistelrooy. But Jaap Stam's one I want to know about.
Jaap Stam. If you ask me, unfortunately, he didn't get to stay in the Premier League as long as we would have loved to see him. But if you ask me, to me, from just a few years he played there, I feel like he might, based on those few years, his solidity and how great he looked, I feel like he's probably the greatest defender to have ever graced the Prem. Like, as just a natural defender.
You talk about foreign defenders that come from abroad, or just in overall?
I think overall, I think he was better than Terry. I think he was better than Ferdinand. I think he was better than Vidic. Who else is there? Tony Adams. Ray Parler, Sol Campbell,
Vincent Kompany, Virgil van Dijk.
Vincent Kompany, Van Dijk. I feel he's better than all of them. I just feel like he had his issues with Alex Ferguson. In today's game, all that raving about Van Dijk, if Yap Stam was in the Prem, it wouldn't even be a debate.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Monster? He was so good on the ball.
And he was great on the ball, yes.
Oh,
as most Dutch defenders are.
Yeah, no. I only say that because you were saying about Van Dijk today. Like if Yap Stam was playing today, he really could play today. He was gifted on the ball. He really was. But back then, it wasn't really play out from the back. Do you know?
No, it wasn't.
What I mean? But
no nonsense defending.
Oh yeah. And he was.
The only thing with Yap Stam is he wasn't.
That long.
He was great. He just wasn't here. He wasn't here long enough, was he? That was the fucking problem.
Yeah, it was his issues with Rio. It was not Rio, sorry, with Ferdinand. And you know Ferdinand, like in today's game, players, if a star's acting up or blah blah, they'll probably get rid of the manager for the star. But you saw it over and over again with Alex Ferguson. He got rid of David Beckham. If Alex Ferguson was at Barcelona, he would have probably gotten rid of Lionel Messi. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I agree. No, he would have. No, he actually would have. No,
I doubt that.
No, he would.
No, he would have.
No, he would have.
Listen, Jem, Messi is obviously way better than David Beckham, but I don't think you understand the star power and the amount of money David Beckham brought to Man United.
Yeah.
And Ferguson got rid of him. That tells me, like,
no player is bigger than the club.
People don't understand the magnitude of that decision. People don't understand it. I don't think people understand. He was probably the first global superstar, and he wasn't even that good. He was good, but not that good.
Yeah. My only other question to you really is, because I've seen him in both teams up to now, is Peter Cech. Why Peter Cech in the all-time greatest Prem goalies?
You know what it is? You know what it is? I'm not too much of a stat person, in it. I know it's going to be a question of is it Schmeichel or is it Cech? But when I was looking at a stat not too long ago, and it was basically ranking the seasons, every player's individual seasons, and Cech like 8 out of the first 10. He had the top 8, and he had like a good, I think it was 15 in the top 30 or 40. And to me, that I know Peter Schmeichel was great, but to me, just that alone tells you, man. Plus, obviously, he got the clean sheet record as well. Obviously, he conceded 15 goals in one season as well.
Yeah.
I think,
and he's wearing our kit as well, isn't it, Monster? That's the other reason.
and obviously, I think when it comes to that debate, I think it's a good debate to have, innit? I think it's down to it probably is down to a bias when it comes to Man United and Chelsea fans. I think he's just as good as Peter Schmeichel was, man. He was amazing.
He was, especially at Chelsea when he first came, and even when after he had that head injury, a lot of people thought he would bottle it. He would be half the player he was meant because of his sort of mental capacity going into corners or one-on-one sort of last inch sort of goal opportunities, things like that. But he wasn't. He didn't change. If anything, he becomes stronger. And you only look what he done in the Champions League for us, and penalties wasn't. I think you can agree with me, Monster. Penalties wasn't his strengths. He was shocking at penalties.
Yeah, he was shit on. Yeah, that's the only. The penalties in the beginning he was shocking, man.
He was shocking. But then I remember in the Champions League, not only did he stop robbing, but he also, stopped, the penalties at the end with Schweinsteiger and whatever, and end up winning us a Champions League. So yeah, he is by far got to be one of the best ever. And the only other question he had really was Hazard, because I get the Chelsea combined 11, but there could be a lot of arguments as to say why the Prem combined 11. Why is he in there over someone like a Ryan Giggs or or a Salah?
Yeah,
or
that is down to bias as well.
Perez,
I think the only I would even say Perez was great as well, but I think the only other player, when you're saying naturally gifted, Hazard's more naturally gifted than all of them. I'm sorry. You can. Well, we know what Ryan Giggs did, so there's obviously you could say Ryan Giggs. He probably should go in there, innit? But my bias did come in there. Like my bias came in there.
I know a lot of people used to say Alexis Sanchez was better than Hazard as well. Do you remember that one as well? When he was at Arsenal.
You need to stop talking to these people, Jim. That's what needs to happen.
All right, let's cut this out. I want to move on to. All right, go on, Indiana. You go. I was going to move on to Monster's sort of YouTube.
Yeah, we can do that and then jump into the quick fires after if you want.
No, go on, do the quick fires. We'll do it after. Go on, that's cool. Give me a bit of time.
Okay, yeah. All right, you sort that out. So I'm just going to ask you some questions, and you just tell me which one you prefer, right?
Yeah.
So it's like 30 seconds. So Zola or Hasselbank?
Hasselbank. Bias. He's my favorite Chelsea player of all time.
Okay, that's fair enough. Arsenal, Spurs.
I'll take Spurs over Arsenal. I can't lie.
Heads or volleys?
Volleys, definitely.
Centre mids or wingers?
Centre mids.
Beautiful women, beautiful game.
That's a hard one.
Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman.
Free kicks or skills?
Free kicks.
Outstanding save or an outstanding goal?
Outstanding goal.
Great tackle or great ball? It's like a through ball or pass.
Great tackle.
Stats or eye test?
Eye test.
Keane versus Vieira or R7 versus Cole? CR7 even.
Keane versus Vieira or CR7 versus Cole. It's Keane versus Vieira.
Okay, last one, because you create content. The subject or the people? What's more important? Creating content.
It's the people, man. Always.
Cool. We're done.
Wicked. I want to move on to the YouTube side of things. I think me and you have probably been in it, and Indiana have been in it probably the same sort of length in terms of creating content, where we started, where it all began. Did you expect it to get to the position it is today?
Did I expect it to? I didn't expect it to go to be as the success to be as quick as it is. But at the same time, I was always determined. Like, I'll say it like this: when you can ask Igal, because me and Igal came into this. Obviously, Igal was always on Sonny's channel.
Yeah.
But we created our channel around about the same time, and I was always like to Igal, yo, Igal he would say some things, but I was always like, nah. I'm determined to do this and to take it far and blah blah. No, I can do it. Like, he even says it to this day, like, raw, you always like believed in yourself to do this and do that. And the reason why was that I always felt like within the Chelsea fan base alone, because I've listened to a lot of the Chelsea content creators, and big ups to them. I've respected all of them and liked all of them. But the thing was that I felt like there was a lot of biases and there was not a lot of truth telling. A lot of them didn't want to, I don't know, they wanted an affiliation with a club. And you've heard Rory talk about this when he's done his videos, whereby a lot of Chelsea content creators don't want to tell the exact truth, or they don't want to tell the hard truth that some of the fans should hear, because they want an affiliation with a club. I've always, when I said, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm gonna come and tell the hard truth, and it's kind of helped me. Now, people have asked me, so what if Chelsea come to you today, say they want to work with you and blah blah, would you work with them? I said, yeah, but am I going to be able to tell the truth if something bad happens? So am I going to be able to criticize them the way I want to criticize them?
Yeah.
And if something happens that I can see that they want to keep hush hush about, will I want to talk about it? I said, if they don't agree to those stipulations, then I will turn them down, because I don't want to be a hush hush fan. I don't want to be a puppet.
Yeah.
I don't want to lie. Like, the whole academy thing, like, we all know Chelsea's academy is it's like a business for the club. So the academy products are not there to get into the first team. They've always been there to go out on loan and bring money into the team, or be sold at some point. Now, a lot of people don't want to admit that everyone they've been, I don't want to call them liars, but they've been telling people that these guys are going to break through to the first team, blah 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 blah. Well, we all know that's not true. Or the situation with Lampard. I think we all knew Lampard was going to get sacked. I was one of the only people that was saying that, listen, he's going to get sacked. Unfortunately, we all love him, but he's going to get sacked. Chelsea Chelsea like a leopard. It doesn't change its stripes or its spots. It remains Chelsea remains the same. It remains Chelsea. But
I
so it's
agree with
just things like that made me want to create my channel to just tell the absolute truth to the Chelsea fan base and not dance around the truth. Let's just tell them what it is,
Yeah.
how it is, in it. Do you know what I mean? So that's
You've
what
got-
made me jump on it.
You've got a very, very unique channel. Like 99% of the people in your chat that are watching, very respectful of each other. You know, they're very welcoming when you get in there. Like when I've been in the chat, everyone always says hello. I know they do the same to Jem. Very loyal. Everyone's very loyal. Do you think that's because of your honesty about Chelsea? Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah, I think so, because I know one thing I noticed during the Lampard debacle was that a lot of the Chelsea YouTubers, their fan base was turning on them. I saw it a lot. They were always like, "Why don't you tell the truth? Why are you just lying, or why are you just why is this? Why do you have this agenda? Blah blah." And I could see it, and I knew it was bound to happen because these guys knew certain things. They just didn't want to say it because they didn't want to lose following in it.
Yeah.
That's not really, as much as I got love for these people, it's not really genuine. Sometimes just tell the truth, innit? Like, say it as it is. Like, that's if you really want these people to love you, sometimes you got to tell them the hard truth. Do you get what I mean?
That's just the rule of. I just think that's just the rule of life in general, though, Monster. You know, it's not something that just even just applies to football. Like, I'm very a man of my word. You guys know me well enough. I know you well enough. Indiana well enough, and I think we're all sort of the spilt of the same mold in that sense as well. And yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of YouTube, especially Chelsea YouTubers, that are, in my eyes, puppets. From what I've seen, and I don't watch them.
It's weird. It's more in the Chelsea fan base than Man United and anyone else.
Do you think that's because of the market for it? Do you think because of the market for a big Chelsea channel? Like, so Man United have obviously got United Stand, Arsenal got AFTV. City probably need a few more fans yet before that, you know, and a bit more longevity before they do that. Start filling your stadium first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With Chelsea have pretty much dominated the decade, right? So do you feel like because there isn't a big channel out there, there's a gap in the market? These people have come in, the club have tried to kind of bring them on board in a certain way. They've tried to appease the club, and that's why, you know, there's Carefree Lewis, there's many, you know, Jem does G&A.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why you have this strong following, because you're so honest and there isn't a big channel as well?
Yeah, definitely, because I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. What you just said, I thought about it as well. I thought to myself, there's a big channel for, there's a United Stand for United, there's AFTV for Arsenal, and I've always, you know, thought to myself, why isn't there one for Chelsea? Now, although to get there is going to take, it will take a long time. It takes a lot of hard work. It's not something that can happen overnight. I thought to myself, this is a market that, yes, you can corner. But at the same time, if I'm even to get anywhere near that, I want to do it telling the truth. So I'm going to say it as it is. I'm not going to dance over the truth. There's no agendas on my side. I don't do agendas. I see it all over. When Twitter's full of agendas, I don't do that. I don't even go back and forth with a lot of Chelsea fans like that. I don't really go back and forth like that on Twitter anyway. But I just want to just tell the truth, and just because I love this club. At the end of the day, we're all Chelsea fans. We love this team. So I just want to tell the truth about this team and say it as it is. I think in Chelsea YouTube, there's that issue of people don't want to say it as it is.
I think just not that as well, Monster. If you're going to say it as it is, and you have a base of followers and subscribers that you know very well, and say you don't blow up to be this 100K, you know, big channel, I'd still rather have that than be this 100K channel and have a load of people on there just giving them bullshit news that I don't actually believe in myself. Do you know what I mean? So
don't get me wrong, Jem. The one thing I would say is, listen, I thought a lot of the stuff Rory was spewing was absolute nonsense and garbage.
Of course it was.
But at the same time, I like how he stood on his 10 toes and didn't care what the club thought. What the club thought. And in a way kind of gave it to the club. I love that he was like, you know what, I don't care about what any deals or blah blah. I'm going to say how I feel, and I like that. The problem is with a lot of the Chelsea fan base, a lot of the Chelsea content creators is they don't want to do that. They're so they don't want to. They want to get deals and associations with the club and things like that. They don't want to offend the club in it, and they won't tell it as it is. Yeah,
Say it as is. I agree.
One channel I forgot to mention was Kai's KH No Filter. Go check that out. As well. He's
Don't forget,
we all
man,
know
like
Kai. Yeah, there's only one Kai.
Listen, I've always said that. Listen, Kai has the potential to be bigger than anyone on this Chelsea.
Yeah.
Although he says the most outrageous shit.
Yeah.
I've told him many times, you could be bigger than all of us, man. All of us.
I said that to him. To him. Yeah, definitely. Really definitely. Well,
he targets an area.
What's the end goal for Monstar CFC in terms of content? What's the target? Where do you want to get with it?
I don't know. Like, obviously, I want to get my channel bigger and things like that. But at the same time, I do want to. I also want to, you know, I would love to talk to footballers and things like that in the future. Do you know what I mean? At some point, like, because I don't want to just be stuck on YouTube and things like. Obviously, there's things in the pipeline I'm going to be doing soon as well. Been talking to some people, but I do want to also like talk to although I do have friends within the football realm, I want to talk to like footballers and I do talk to a couple. I do have a friend who's an agent, so I talk to him, and I got a few friends that are coaches, a couple friends in the Chelsea coaching setup as well. I talk to as well. But I want to I want to do they don't want to do interviews because they do not want to be in the limelight. But I would love to do interviews with these kind of people out in the open, innit? Do you get what I mean? Yeah.
No, I hear you. Before we move on to the last topic, which is the combined World 11, please get your questions in for Monstar. Obviously, we've just put that in the chat now. So if you've got any questions at the end, we will bring them up. The ones that we feel like we should bring up for Monstar, he will answer for you guys. No problemo. Please smash the like button as well. Please subscribe. Also, if you are new here, please.
And if you don't know about Monstar's channel, it's in the description. Go in the description. The link for his channel and his socials, they're all in there. Mine and Gems as well.
Yeah.
But please do that.
So this is his World 11. Here it is. Peter Cech again in goal. Ashley Cole again. Maldini, Nesta, Cafu, Makaleli, Zidane, Xavi, Messi, Ronaldo, and man like R9 up front. Indiana was about to say something, so go on, Indiana. What are you going to say?
The goalkeeper, man. Yeah, Cech again.
Do you know
the best ever. You're saying the best ever goalkeeper,
bro. Do you know what it is? Obviously, obviously there's Buffon, there's Casillas, there's many other goalkeepers out there, innit? But my agenda still stands on Petr.
That's a strong agenda, bro. I'll give you that one. What about R9? Is he
striker I've ever seen? Straight up. Yeah, best striker I've ever seen.
Like,
I don't
would not someone like Samuel Eto'o touch him?
No,
the Zlatans,
Zlatan. I feel Zlatan's slightly overrated. I feel like
Ronaldinho as well.
Ronaldinho. The thing is, where is Ronaldinho going to fit in? Because like Messi and Ronaldo, you can't put Ronaldinho over them. They have Ronaldinho was great, but was great for how many years will I say? It's from 2002 to about 2007, 6 or 7,
6 maybe
6, and then obviously faded off because obviously his lifestyle didn't help. So I can't fit him in there over. There's no one I just feel I can fit him in over any of these guys. R9,
he's on the bench with Tiny.
R9 to me is a better striker than Eto'o. I think Eto'o was great. Don't get me wrong, was a world-class striker. I don't think people give him the respect he deserves because he dominated Europe like no other.
Yeah.
Probably dominated Europe more than like in terms of the Champions League, dominated Europe better than R9 did. R9 obviously had a World Cup 94, 98, 2002. Did well at 2000, did all right at 2006. But was a bit overweight. But we can't deny what he did on the greatest stage of them all, which is the World Cup. So he goes in that number 9 position.
Yeah,
I hear that.
No, I wouldn't debate that. I think the only thing I would say would be that for me, Ronaldinho is the best footballer I've ever seen.
In that 4 or 5 year period, yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. Nobody comes close to him for me.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I agree with
I
that.
understand what you're saying in terms
Yeah.
of longevity, achievements.
Yeah.
That I get that. I do hear that.
Yeah,
The goalkeeper still got me though. I can't lie, but we'll have to move on from that.
The next one for me was you've gone for the all-out Italian, probably the best Italian partnership ever in Maldini and Nesta.
Yeah, listen, if I'm gonna fit anyone else in there, there's a shout for, if I'm gonna, who can I fit in there? There's a shout for Puyol, Sergio Ramos. I feel does not
Bonucci?
get the respect. Who?
Bonucci?
Nah,
No, Chiellini.
Chiellini, no, not as good as these guys. But
No,
I feel
he's
Puyol,
not far off. He's not far off in that.
PK?
Probably about 4 years ago, he wouldn't have been far off, but he's not at their level. No.
PK, no. I just feel like if I'm to fit anyone else, apart from these guys, I can give an argument to would be that I've seen Sergio Ramos, Puyol, Stam. I like John Terry. I just don't think he was as good as on the level of these guys, because these guys were a different gravy. Like, Italian defenders are the best ever. Like, there's no argument there.
We know about that through the Ram, but
yeah. I just feel like it would just be those three I mentioned. Apart from these three, I don't feel like there's anyone else that I've seen personally. Maybe some Brazilian defenders actually. Lucio. Yeah, Lucio maybe. Yeah, no. Baresi as well. Baresi as well.
Yeah. What about man? Listen, do you know what? Touching on about, man, and the midfield. I'm looking at the midfield that you got at the moment, and for me, it is pretty tasty. You've got the best defensive midfielder ever to have played football in my eyes, in Makelele. The best passer of the game in Xavi, probably one of them again, and the most balanced. I'd say the overall balanced, but he had a bit of everything, didn't he? I'd say balance, talent, his calmness. You know what got me with Zidane the most?
This is
how calm he was on the ball, man. Both feet as well. Technically good with both feet.
Because that midfield, it was tough for me because it was tough. Like, I was thinking, who can I? Let's not get it twisted. It was great French midfielders as well. Like, Terrace. Sorry, not. Terrace is German, but I was going to bring up the German ones too. But the French ones like Petit and all these guys. Zidane's in there.
Is he?
Obviously Vieira as well.
Oh yeah, I can see
Vieira as well. And there's also Mateus. There's Ballack as well, because Ballack is the reason why I didn't put Ballack in there or in the Chelsea one, because Ballack's greatest years, he was amazing at Chelsea, but his greatest years was at Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich. People forget how he carried those teams for so long. He carried that Germany team to a World Cup final, to two Euros final as well. And he's to a Champions League final. He's one of the most unlucky footballers I've ever seen. So unlucky. He deserves more than he got in football. He did. He deserved to win more.
Let me ask you a question. So two of your two attacking midfielders, one gets injured. Who comes off the bench?
In my midfield.
In your midfield, one of those two gets injured.
Iniesta.
Who do you bring in?
Iniesta. It's got to be Iniesta, isn't it?
I bring in Iniesta.
It's got to be Iniesta.
Yeah, I have to bring in Iniesta, man. I think maybe not talked about enough, but he has to. He's the number one person I bring off the bench. I'm sorry, he was too good. I just couldn't put him in. I just felt like I couldn't put him in over Zidane. But if I can't put Zidane in there, I put an Iniesta in there.
See, I might have gone for Iniesta over Xavi. You know, as much as I love Xavi, I've got a thing for Iniesta, man. I think he's so gifted. Gifted. He can do everything.
They both were though, Jem. That's the
he
issue.
was, but Xavi was more of a ball passer, wasn't he? Like, he'd get the ball and he'll get the team moving. As with Iniesta, he could dribble, he could pass, he could score.
I wouldn't want to break them up. That would be my thing. I wouldn't want to put one in without the other.
I did think about putting them together, but Zidane, like, we all saw what Zidane did for Real Madrid. We saw what he did in the 98 World Cup. We saw what he did in the 2006 World Cup. If he hadn't got sent off, they would have probably won. We saw, he threw up against England and then came and scored in the Euro 2004. Broke my fucking heart. Scored two, a free kick and a penalty after throwing up in the game. We saw how great this guy is. So I just feel like he edged it over Iniesta. And as for Xavi is controlling the game.
Yeah,
he's controlled it. I don't feel like I've seen any midfielder control the game like Xavi did. If I need control, it's him. And the same as you said with Xavi and Iniesta, the two go together. You could also say Xavi, Iniesta, and Sergio Busquets, because I did think about Sergio Busquets as well.
he was very good.
I do feel like he's very underrated and deserves more praise. You know what I mean? Same thing as well. When I was doing a prem, I thought about Michael Carrick as well. Deserves praise as well, but I would have probably just I would have edged Makelele over.
That's what I was saying. If there wasn't any Makelele, would it have been Busquets second for you?
Probably would have been Busquets, Xavi. Yeah. Or Xabi Alonso. Maybe Xabi Alonso as well.
Can I ask you a question about the striker as well? Who would you put in to replace R9 if he got injured? Who would you have on the bench for him? Because there's no one else on his level, right? So it's So he's kind of out of this in terms of who you would pick, what sort of style striker. I'm trying to get a feel for what sort of style striker you like, and
I would have chosen. It would have been a tough one because as just a natural striker, I was thinking about Roberto Baggio. I was also obviously thinking about Henry, thinking about Samuel Eto'o as well. So it would have been a toss up between those three. It would have been a toss up. I probably would have edged with Henry. Probably, yeah.
I would have said the same.
Yeah, I would have gone with Henry.
Yeah. Okay, cool. There's Monsters World 11, combined 11 there, guys. We're going to move on swiftly. Questions for Monster, as we're going to tie it up very, very soon.
While you're looking, Jem, I've got a question for Monster.
Yeah.
What's the most embarrassing thing you have done? Because I know you've got some stories, right? I know some things that have happened to you. You're like, wow, I wish that never happened. Like, we've seen you on this channel. You just got out of bed, like pretty much no clothes on. We've seen you on the terrace. You stood up, forgot your trousers.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember the stream when the whole lotion stream. Get your hands above the desk, hands where we could see them.
There were days.
What's the most embarrassing, the funniest thing, or the thing you look back on and you think, wow, that was wild? Because I know things happened on your channel, right? Just was it yesterday or the day before that guy's coming out like, if I was a United fan, I'd introduce my sister in a certain way. He said it, but what's the wildest things you've heard or seen or happened to you?
The wildest, it'll probably be jumping out of a girl's window with only boxes and having to run home in only boxes because her dad came home. That was probably the most embarrassing. I had to run home, which it wasn't far away, but it was a long ass run, sprint home in only boxes.
Was it dark? Was it dark outside? Was this middle of the day?
Middle of the day.
Wow. Wow.
Even worse. Even worse.
Ran home barefooted as well.
First question from Red Devil Studio: are you worried about top 4 Monster?
No. The reason why I'm not worried is I have full confidence in Tuchel. I feel like the game against West Brom was a blip because, in my opinion, I don't know how other people feel about it, but if we had not gotten that red card, I think we would have won that game comfortably 3-4-0. I think we would have scored more than 2. So I feel like a lot of people are a bit they're very reactionary to that game. I think we will pick up our form back again. I do feel like Leicester and West Ham will still drop points, and Chelsea could pip them. We're only, what are we, 1 point behind West Ham?
Yeah. It's so tight. It's so tight.
But it just makes that game against West Ham bigger, doesn't it?
What if Liverpool could come back?
Liverpool could.
It's going to be tight.
I still trust in Chelsea to pip Leicester and West Ham, so we could still go 4th, and Liverpool could end up getting 3rd, or Chelsea or Liverpool could get 3rd, and Chelsea could get 4th. I'm not overreacting. I trust in the manager because I think he's a very good manager. I just feel like that red card didn't help. I mean, you saw
Yeah.
with the Man United and Tottenham game where you got a red card and it all just went
downhill.
Crazy and you lost. What was it?
6-1.
6-1.
6-1.
Yeah.
That's what a red card can do that to you. That's what happens. So I just feel like people were overreacting. It happens. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. As soon as we conceded that red card, I knew we were gonna lose because you're asking a lot of the players of 10 men against 11 men in the 29th minute. People don't understand how early that is in the
but
game.
it was West Brom and they're 19th, and the only
Doesn't
thing,
matter.
and we was winning 1-0 as well, Monster.
It's
10 against 11 though. It's tough.
I don't want to go into this too much because it's not part of the show, but
yeah,
this was a whole new thing. This was a whole new thing for Tuchel. Big Sam football. It's a lesson learned in it.
He did make mistakes in it. Don't get me wrong. I thought about maybe we should drop back as well and just sit behind the ball. But then you do that. If you do that, you concede one goal, it will go wrong. Because then it will definitely go wrong. Then he's gonna have to come out, and then he could still get pammed after that as well. So it could have gone this way either way, even if they sat behind the ball. It's tough.
Shane Malone says, Monster, besides Czech, if you could choose one keeper from a rival team, who would it be, bro?
What, any rival? Is that any rival team, or is that
from any rival team? Yeah,
I'm choosing Casillas. If it's
Schmeichel.
No, I would choose Schmeichel if it's a Prem. Schmeichel, yeah. But if it's World, I feel like obviously if in that World 11, I should have probably replaced Czech with Casillas. I was biased there, but I feel like Casillas deserves to be that #1 goalkeeper.
Fair enough. Monster, who's your favorite celebrity if you have one?
I don't think I have a favorite celebrity. I don't.
Indiana
I actually don't really worship celebrities like that, to be honest.
I thought it was me, mate.
That's why you said Indiana and Jim.
But who do I like that makes me smile?
Could be a film. It could be an actor. It could be
Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington. It's a good chat.
Yeah, and if to someone the next question was favorite film, it will probably be Training Day.
Yeah.
Denzel or American Gangster, which are both Denzel Washington movies.
Yeah. Chi, I haven't seen your question. He's saying,
what's Jem searching for one? Tell me where this confidence comes from. Where this the whole pray for the rivals. We're gonna walk the Champions League group stage. We're gonna win the Prem. But before you answer, everybody smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Monster socials and links are in the description.
My confidence. I feel I've always been a confident guy. Like, that's always been me. You could ask anyone. Like, me and my friends used to have challenges. Like, there'll be a group of 5 girls. He would tell me which one I should pick out of the group and try to get a number in front of the friends. And I would literally do that. So I've always been a confident guy. Like, I don't know. It's just been my character. Innit?
It's in your blood.
It's in my blood. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've never really been. I've always been confident. Nothing really phases me in that sense. Do you know what I mean? So that's where the confidence. It's just how it is. Like, when you grow up around South London like that, in the manner in which we grew up, you kind of have to have that confidence. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? So I'm guessing it's just that. Yeah.
I think you have confidence in general, and I agree. I had a mate who I used to go out with, and he used to get turned away more than he actually used to pull. But I used to always ask him, "Why are you so hungry?" He goes, "Well, because the more girls I ask, the more chance I've got of pulling more."
Yeah.
Like, it was always like, he was never phased. It doesn't matter if she was a 10 out of 10, stunning, like thought she was the dog's bollocks. He would still go and talk to her. Do you know what I mean? Monster, who is your favourite youth player in the first team in Chelsea?
Favorite youth player out of the guys we got, it'll probably be Reece James, man. I really like Reece James. I really like Reece.
He's going to be a midfielder, right?
Probably, yeah. A lot of these fullbacks in England are midfielders, man. Reece James,
he's just not a fullback, is he? Let's be serious. I don't think.
But do you know what it is? A lot of these players have been converted. Do you know what I mean? Remember, Kyle Walker used to be a striker, if I'm not wrong. And it's how it is. Even me, when I was playing, I was converted from a striker to a centre back. Because of how tall I was and how good I was in the air and things like that, they converted me to a centre back.
Do you know one person they fucked up was Kepa. He used to be a midfielder and they put him in goal. It completely ruined him.
Now you see why.
Best player you have packed FIFA? I mean, is he talking about like unpacked from FIFA?
Who have I packed? That's great in FIFA. Who did I packed? I packed a Philip Lahm one time. I think it was 2 years ago, but that's it. That's it. Philip Lahm.
Fair enough. Here's Chi-Chi's question. What are your thoughts on the reports about Tammy being left out of the squad?
I feel like it's not fair. If we're being honest, it's not fair. Even till now, Tammy hasn't played in God knows how long. Till now, he's still got more goals than Timo Werner. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's not fair. He doesn't deserve it. Straight up, he doesn't deserve it. If anything, he deserves to be in this team over Timo Werner. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you. It's as straight as that.
Someone should have warned you about this in the summer, you know.
We all know, no, but as Chelsea fans, we knew this. We knew that
Loving
these,
this.
I knew that these youth players were going to get frozen out at some point. You know what I mean? Don't be surprised if you never know. Even Mason Mount or Reece James could at some point be Billy Gilmore be frozen out at some point. Chelsea will always look for better. That's just the nature of the business.
I know why you brought this up, Indiana. I know why you brought this up. He just wants this answered. Who's the best signing for Chelsea and flop?
Best signing for Chelsea. This is
probably Mendy.
When is it all time or what?
Mate, I think, just say for now, for this season.
This season.
Yeah,
Let's go this season.
I think the best signing is going to be the best signing is Thiago Silva. But if we're talking about, I feel like
Out wide.
Have you not seen him all season? Okay, yes. Again, the 2 games in West Brom.
I've seen him in the stands the other week, and I seen him get sent off the other day.
Yeah,
what about Mendy?
Mendy too. Yeah. Okay.
Mendy.
Okay, that is true. Mendy as well. All right, let me take that away from Thiago Silva because he hasn't played that much over the last couple of months. But yes, you could say Mendy. The worst is obviously Timo Werner. It's Timo Werner.
No, it ain't. It ain't.
Who is it?
It is. It's got to be.
He's
He's played the most games.
Wait a second. Ben Chilwell's coming with a big price tag, and he's not played well.
I think Ben Chilwell's done all right.
I'm just going on based on the.
You say Timo Werner, but he's got the most goal contributions for Chelsea of any other Chelsea player at Chelsea. For goal contributions, it means he's contributing more to the goals.
We've been shit. Well, we've not been but your front line hasn't been good. You can have the most goal Listen, Tammy can have the most goals. Timo Werner can have the most goal contributions. Either way, the Chelsea line front line has been shit.
Yeah, I agree.
You've got the most. Yeah. You've got the most in a shit front line.
I know that. I just can't suss out whether he's the flop compared to some of the players that we have had there that are just like Ben Chilwell has been shocking.
I think if you base it on expectations that you had, I think it's got to be Timo. No, because you've seen him as a goal scorer, right?
Yeah. My expectations is a bit different to everyone else.
Expectations,
in terms of Timo Werner, yes. In terms of expectations, Timo Werner is probably the worst. Kai Havertz, I've always said, because I understand. You see, the reason why I have a different perspective is because I've actually played at academy level. So I know that when it comes to young players, you shouldn't expect nothing from them straight away. It takes time for them to become who they become. So with Kai Havertz, I've always said, I don't even give this season, I don't even give it to him. Maybe not even next season. I give him a couple of seasons before he blossoms because I know how great he could be. So I don't worry about Kai Havertz. Now, it's Timo Werner that does worry me because I've seen him, and it's when it comes to goal scoring form, I get that goal scoring form can come and go or whatever. But when I see him in just the fundamentals of the game, his first touch, his passing, and things like that, it looks shocking. It looks bad. It doesn't even look like that of a professional footballer at times. That's how bad he looks, and that worries me. It actually worries me.
Well, look, Monster, we're going to have to he's going to be here next season. We're going to have to give him till next season. Maybe it's just an adapting thing. I don't know. We'll see with Timo Werner what happened with him. But one thing I do know is that if he continues in this vein, they won't keep him there. You know what we're like. We're too cutthroat. We're too cutthroat. But favourite all-time Chelsea manager?
Jose. Yeah. Jose. No two ways about it.
You ain't really got much else to say. But then Johnny says, Tia, if you had the chance to sign Kazi or Johnny, who would it be as a Chelsea manager?
Both. You know what I mean? As Chelsea manager, we could sign whoever. We got Roman, so it'll be both.
All right, one more. Monster, do you think Hazard underachieved in his career as some people make out he did?
Underachieved. I do feel like
Did he or did Chelsea? Because that
maybe it was Chelsea as a team. But the reason why I say that is because there were so many times Hazard was in this team, we didn't build a better team around him. So when we lost Costa or whoever, we brought in rubbish players. We didn't look at Sarri's season. Most of those players shouldn't even be playing with Hazard. We should have surrounded him with great, amazing players. We didn't do that, and it, we put too much of a burden on him. So we failed in that sense. Yes, we did. So I feel he underachieved? Yeah, a little. I do feel like he did. Although he still had a great season. He had a great career at Chelsea. He won 2 Premier League titles. That's great. It's a great career.
Yeah, great talent.
League. Yeah.
Great talent.
Lampard won what? One more?
Can I ask you, would you take him back? If everything fails at Real Madrid, he's on a free. You wouldn't take him back?
He's done.
If he's on a free, I would. I would just free. If he's on a free.
On a free, possibly. But to buy him back, no. Because the thing is, I feel like a lot of fans are just, we love to do this fairy tale thing. Like we love the fairy tale that it takes us away from the reality of situations.
Yeah.
Hazard is done. It looks like he's done at the highest level.
I asked because obviously being a Man United fan, a lot of people talk about Ronaldo. For me, I wouldn't want him back at United.
Yeah,
it's not the same guy. It's not the same.
It never really got started for him at Real Madrid though. He went there, he signed this big contract, and it's like he died when he left Chelsea.
Yeah, but I feel like obviously part of it is Real Madrid's training resume. Part of it's his lifestyle is caught up to him
his
as well.
attitude as well.
He don't look after himself, does he? As well,
doesn't look after himself. And as you
chef
get late, when you start to get in your 30s, it catches up to you. We saw that with Wayne Rooney. Remember, Wayne Rooney kind of died out at what, 28, 29? How old was he when he started to die out?
Yeah, that was just
mad. He died out too young. I don't get that with Rooney.
Yeah, he was in his 20s.
He burnt out. He burnt out.
When you think Ryan Giggs was like 39, right? It tells you how young a player of that quality died off at. Yeah,
and the reason why, obviously, he was playing at a high level from a young age, from 16 years old, Wayne Rooney. But at the same time, his lifestyle, in terms of, remember, he used to always come in overweight after during, just like Hazard during preseason. So after he scored that overhead kick, he was done. After the overhead kick against Man City, he was done as a player. I remember when Chelsea wanted to buy him and Moyes gave him a 300 a week contract. I was like, thank God. Like, this guy's done. You could see it. If you can't see it, then I don't know. Like,
on his day, though, he was probably one of the best Premier League strikers I've ever seen in my life.
He was. But his lifestyle, when you understand sports nutrition and things like that, and in general in sports, you know that if you don't live a certain lifestyle, when you start to hit your late 20s stroke,
you struggle.
Early 30s, it starts to catch up to you. Life will always catch up to you, innit? And it happens a lot with the Brazilians. It happens a lot with them.
Not just that, he also started at a very young age at a top level
16
as well.
16.
You know, he was at Everton, and then he got his big move to Man United, and then he became like the focal point at such a young age. And it happened with people like, you got to look at Theo Walcott. I know he never took off to become this great player, but at Arsenal he was dubbed to be the next big thing and whatever.
The next Henry. They used to say the next Henry.
That was just English hype. But Rooney was the real deal. So Rooney could be. Walcott never. Real Madrid, Barcelona's the biggest teams in the world and performing, never. Rooney could be the best. Name the best team in the world. Wayne Rooney could get in there. You know what I mean? Walcott. He couldn't. He wasn't that good. He was just a push your ball and run type of player. But Wayne Rooney wasn't that. Wayne Rooney was straight a world-class player, an all-time great. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you could tell.
Yeah. And on that note, guys, we're going to tie it up there. It's been an hour and 10 minutes. I'm sure we've all got work. I've got work tomorrow early as well. No, Monster's off, isn't he? I'm assuming now.
Not work, but I got uni work.
He's got work. But Monster, thank you for coming on as always, bro. Appreciate you coming on. Man. Coming on this a little bit different, isn't it? A little bit different. We're trying to do something a little bit different here, me and Indiana. But We appreciate, as always, viewers. Again, thank you very, very much for getting involved. If you are new here, please subscribe. Please smash the like button. And in the description below is my Monsters and Indiana's links for everything if you need us. Indiana, anything you want to say before we shoot?
No, just what you said. Please smash the like, share the video if you can, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you get in the description and follow Monstar and his channel if you haven't subscribed to it. There's always some crazy stuff going on there when people get involved. All the people that come on. Those are some of our favorite times, right, Jim? Like Monsters playing FIFA, having a conversation with himself, and we're all arguing over Skype call.
We had a bombshell that was it day before yesterday? What day was it? Yeah,
yesterday was yesterday. It was
Monster.
yesterday. That was
a wild one.
I feel like it goes from one bombshell on GNA TV to yours. It's just like it's the group of individuals that we have.
Chelsea fans, man.
Like, it just came out of nothing. I was like,
go check that out. Go follow Monstar on Twitter, and I think you posted it out earlier, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did.
Go and check his tweets. Yeah, please do that.
Yeah, classic. That's all I'm going to say, people. Classic. And on that note, sleep well. Make sure you, like Kai would say, have your vitamins, have everything you need to make sure you're revitalized for your days ahead. And we'll see you again soon. Peace, people.